After another sad and painful break week, the bluelock chapter 301 leaks are finally here. From Michael Kaiser and Alexis Ness to the outside world and Nagi Seishiro, I can at least say that this chapter was well worth the wait. What's going on, everyone? My name is Animasu, and today we're diving into the leaks for Bluelock Chapter 301, titled Parade. If you enjoy breakdowns like this or just want to support the channel, make sure to subscribe, drop a comment down below, and hop into the community Discord if you haven't already. With that all out of the way, let's get right into it. Today's leaks kick off with some intro text as usual, which states, "The new Egoist League is over. That last goal changed the lives of Kaiser and Ness." With the aftermath of all the matches being shown, players like Julian, Loki, and Charles, along with Lavinio and Chris Prince, are shown exiting the pitch while exchanging grins. Amidst all the lighthearted energy though, Noah isn't smiling, as he's instead staring off to the side, eyes locked onto Michael Kaiser. We then shift to the exit hallway, where Kaiser walks ahead with Ness following close behind. Kaiser's clearly not in the mood, basically admitting he's not the player Ness once believed in and tells him to back off. It's a wild way to open up the chapter, and it really shows how deep his frustration and self-doubt go after this match. But let's be real, this man right here is the biggest hater in all of Bluelock, who's even admitted it himself. Fuck 100 men versus 1 gorilla, just give us one Michael Kaiser versus self-accountability. Page 3 then continues the hallway scene as Kaiser looks back at Ness, expecting him to finally give up. He even tells Ness that they're broken and need to be apart, but instead of walking away, Ness takes on a more serious expression. Even after everything that happened and was just said, Alexis Ness still refuses to leave. Page 4 gets pretty intense as Kaiser's frustration boils over as it often does. He glares at Ness, completely overwhelmed, and finally explodes in anger. He screams out about how he threw Ness away for the sake of victory, only to lose to Isagi anyway. He calls himself a piece of shit, humiliating the world with his existence, and begs Ness to stop clinging to someone so lowly. It's a pathetic and sad moment from a guy who's usually so arrogant, but in the end, it's his facade completely cracking away. The scared little boy with unresolved issues is still there, and Ness refuses to leave him alone in that darkness. Page 5 then goes on to surprise the hell out of me, as Alexis Ness stands his ground, staring down at a shocked Kaiser. Ness makes it clear that he's done following his orders and won't let him tear himself down any longer. He tells Kaiser what he's always needed to hear, that he's not a piece of shit, but a flesh and blood human being who deserves to be loved. It's a powerful moment of affirmation, showing that Ness is fully committed to sticking by Kaiser, no matter how much hate and self-doubt consumes his heart. We see Michael Kaiser absolutely distraught, unable to respond to Ness's words, but Ness isn't done yet. He looks Kaiser in the eyes and promises to use his ego to cast a spell on his broken self. I'm not gonna lie, this moment hit so hard that I nearly cried. He's essentially vowing to help guide and stay with his friend through his hardest times of healing, and it's a super emotional moment I never expected. But right after that powerful scene, we get a major reveal. The final bid results for the non-Bluelock players in the new Egoist League. Kaiser's bid is 400 million from N.E.L, Lorenzo's is 280 million from Ubers, Alexis Ness is at 130 million from Bashi Munich, Charles is at 110 million from PXG, and finally Agi is at 80 million from Manshine City, of course. The big takeaway here is that Kaiser's bid is from N.E.L, and we might be seeing him, Itoshi Rin, and Sai all team up, which would be chaotic to say the very least. And with Ness still having an offer from Bashi Munich, it looks like we'd see him team up once again with Isagi in the future. Everything else is pretty calm just as expected, but that Itoshi Kaiser combo, it terrifies me. The focus then shifts as the camera begins to zoom out from the final bid result board. At the bottom of the page, we see the Bluelock shuttle bus taking off, signaling a transition. The commentator's voice rings out, informing the 23 players who survived the N.E.L, please have some rest in your stratums. The next itinerary will be tomorrow at 9 AM. Please wear your designated suits and get on the shuttle bus. With it being the next day, we get a cool overhead view of the players on the shuttle bus, all suited up and looking sharp as they start chatting. We get a close-up of Batsura, Nanase, and Yoichi, and honestly they're looking fly as hell. Batsura excitedly says it's probably the first time he's ever worn such a fancy suit, and Nanase asks if his necktie looks okay, and with Hiyori being the homie he is, he offers it to fix it for him. Page 9 continues with more interactions among the Bluelock players, each reacting in their own way. Mikage sits quietly, clearly feeling down about Nagi leaving, while Itoshi Rin, trying to sleep, pulls down an eye mask in frustration. Bado, on the other hand, is confused as he stares at the dark windows, wondering why he can't see anything. Otoya and Santetsu are tweaking about how expensive and fancy everything feels, while Sendo, Aryu, and Nico are chatting about how their upcoming meeting with journalists and possibly TV and livestream debuts is crazy. The focus then shifts to Isagi Yoichi, who's chilling in the back of the bus next to his sleeping Gagamaru. As he reflects on the moment Nagi left, the words he said echo in his mind. Isagi can't help but think about how that's all he could say in that moment, wondering if he could have done more. He glances over at Reo, who's clearly the closest to Nagi, and wonders what he could be thinking or feeling right now. No matter how much Isagi tries, he just cannot wrap his head around Nagi being eliminated. Before he can dwell on it any longer though, the announcer blares out that they've arrived. Instantly, Chigure and Bachira jump to their feet, both eager and confused, asking where they're going and what's next. Pages 12 and 13 hit us with a wide double spread showing the outside of the bus, where thousands of people are cheering for the Blue Lock players as they pass by. The announcer's voice rings out, revealing that they're holding a victory parade in Roppongi, Tokyo. Bachira, Chigure, and Isagi all stare out in awe, completely taken aback by the overwhelming reception for them. They're all stars now. As most of the Blue Lock players make their way to the roof of the bus to wave at the cheering fans, the funniest thing happens. Women start screaming for Otoya, shouting that they love him and even asking if they want to hop off the bus and go with them. Otoya is about to jump down, but Karasu quickly grabs him, holding him back. Hiyori and Yukimiya meanwhile can barely believe what's happening, still in disbelief at the attention they're getting. Bachira, fully embracing the chaos, throws his arms wide and screams out to the fans that he loves them all. Chigure meanwhile is funny enough pestering Kunigami, telling him to stop acting emo and at least wave to the fans. Sendo is shouting out for everyone to follow his Instagram while Oliver Aiku tries to settle him down, and in the middle of all the madness, Isagi just stands there, still in shock. Pages 16 and 17 hit us with another stunning double spread, this time focusing solely on Isagi. He's standing there staring out at the massive crowd, completely taken aback. The fans are chanting his name, and there are even people wearing Blue Lock 11 jerseys representing Isagi Yoichi. It's a surreal moment for him as he realizes the impact they've had. It's hard for him to believe that the Blue Lock players, driven by their own egos, were able to create such massive enthusiasm and excitement in the outside world. The moment is humbling for Isagi as he starts to truly grasp just how far their journey has come and how much the world has been swept up in their egos and rivalry. Page 18 continues with Isagi still staring out in the crowd, his hands gripping on the edge of the bus tightly. As he takes in a sea of fans chanting his name, he starts to come to a realization. This is what sports are all about. Entertainment, the power of football, and the emotions it stirs in people. Though it's shocking and overwhelming for him, Isagi can't help but admit that it feels good. The excitement, energy, and connection with the crowd, it's all part of the game and he's finally starting to understand its true power. Despite the rush of excitement, Isagi starts to sweat and look uneasy. He admits to himself that while this all feels amazing, there's a part of him that's still terrified. He's realized how fragile this world is, how someone can be a hero with a single moment of brilliance only to fail just as easy. It's a world where the best and the worst outcomes are always in play, and the pressure of that realization hits hard. Pages 20 and 21 hit us with another badass double spread, this time showing Isagi Yoichi pumping his fist over the bus, reaching out to the crowd to hype them up. Despite the fear and pressure he just admitted to, he stands tall and declares that this fear will not stop him, it'll only push him forward. He refuses to get satisfied, at least not until he becomes the best in the entire world. With a determined look on his face, Isagi vows to go beyond this moment, beyond this crowd, and to win the World Cup for his country. The final page closes with a sad parallel to Isagi's passionate vow. His words echo in the background, stating that he could never return to his world without football, but as we turn the page, we see someone doing just that. The recently locked off Nagi Seishiro. He's quietly dropping off his baggage at home, and his eyes are empty and devoid of any spark. After gently moving Choki, his cactus, he softly says, "I'm home," giving a very somber vibe to the scene. The final text of the chapter gives us Nagi's inner monologue, which says, "Just like Choki, I didn't change. Just came back to my ordinary life." With only 50 days left into the Under-20 World Cup, today's chapter ends off with a sharp contrast between Nagi's lost potential and Isagi's determination. And with that, we wrap up the chapter 301 leaks. But looking ahead to next week, chapter 302 is titled, "That's Enough, I'm Done or Forget It." A kata can reflect any of those. My gut says it might center around Reo Mikage and how the others try to talk to him about what happened, maybe even Ego Jinpachi, but I honestly still feel like that's a long shot. Either way, let me know what you guys think that title is hinting at down in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and join the Discord to keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video very shortly.